Hi, and welcome to Track 1, Beginner Yoga Strength with Global Oasis Yoga. If you are brand new to yoga and movement in general, you're in the right place. If you're currently already active and new to yoga, you can find the link to our Track 2 Beginner series in the written description below this video. This Track 1 Strength class is one of 4 classes in the series. And again, if you look at the written description below here, you'll find links to the other classes in the series there. If you haven't already, subscribe for free to the channel and add these classes to your watch later list. You can weave those into your rotation in the future. This Track 1 series was created specifically for those of you who are just beginning their movement journey. It was intended to be a way for you to build mobility, strength, and flexibility in an unrushed and sustainable pace. For those of you using a chair today, copy the mat movements from the chair for the seated poses, and then stand and join for the standing poses. From time to time, you're going to see instructional videos pop up in the top left corner of your screen for you to follow. And finally, all props are optional, but you may find it helpful to have nearby a throw pillow or folded blanket to provide cushioning under the knees, a bolster or a rolled up blanket, a chair for support. Even if you're using the mat today, you might want to have a chair nearby for assistance getting up and down from the mat, and also a set of yoga blocks or 2 stacks of sturdy books if you don't have blocks. If you're using blocks, go ahead and place those and the rest of your props at the top of your mat. And let's begin seated, either on the mat or in a chair. If you're using a chair today, scoot all the way forward to the edge of the chair and stack your knees directly above the ankles. Let's head on over to the mat and begin. All right, our legs are crossed. Hands can be on the knees, or you can even bring the hands to the lower belly. As always, if you feel like you would like to prop the sit bones up on a blanket or a bolster here, do so. This will take a little pressure off your knees. So make your way to a comfortable position. You're welcome to close the eyes here for the first few moments of class. And begin bring your breathing into long and slow inhales and exhales through the nose. As a reminder, we want our bellies to expand as we inhale and contract as we exhale. So if it helps you to have that physical reminder, you can place your hand on your belly and feel that happening. Let's find one more big inhale. Taking a big breath all the way up to the top. Once you get to the top, see if you can get just a little bit more air in there. And then one nice big slow exhale through the nose, allowing the belly to contract again. And lower the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Allow the chin to drop towards the chest. And take the left ear to the left shoulder. So let's roll the neck from side to side, passing through center, taking it a little bit a more fluid pace here. If you need to pause in any sensitive areas, do so. lift the head back to neutral. Extend the right arm out to the side just a little bit. Leave the fingertips dangling there in air. And take the left ear over the left shoulder. Release and change sides. Lift back up to center. Extend both arms out to the sides. Reach the fingertips as far as they can get from one another. And let's begin drawing small circles with the fingertips here. Keep the core hugged in tight, the abdomen area. So hug the navel towards the spine. And take the action of trying to lift the pubic bone up towards the navel. So engaging those muscles in that way. Make your circles a little bit bigger now. And focus on the areas of your upper arm, the muscles that surround the bone there, the triceps. See if you can hug those muscles a little bit closer to the bone, activating the arms a little more. Let's change the direction of the circles, starting really small. If your shoulders get fatigued, just lower the arms and rest and pick them back up again when you're ready. Again, keeping the triceps hugged towards the bone here, and make your circles a little bit bigger. We'll be here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders, and let's draw circles forward with the elbows. Should feel nice. And reverse. Lower the hands down towards the hips. Pause for just a moment here and rest. On your next inhale, through the nose, lift the arms up overhead and gaze at the fingertips. As you exhale, lower the hands back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale to lower. One more time. Lowering on the inhale. And we're going to change it up just a little bit. Inhale it up again. And then exhale, bend the elbows, bring the arms into cactus shape. Pausing here. And then utilize the strength of your core and twist the torso over to the right. See if you can keep those upper arms still parallel to the ground. Twisting from the torso here. So our knees are still pointed forward. If it's safe for your neck, you can turn to gaze over the right arm. And then use the strength of your core to pull it back through center. Arms are still lifted. And exhale, twisting to the opposite direction. One more breath here. And exhale, back to center. Lower the arms. You might want to roll out the shoulders a little bit. As I said, this is a strength class, so we'll be building lots of heat in our muscles. You're welcome. Take the hands to the knees and let's circle the torso over the knees here. Just leaning forward and behind you, going at a pace that feels nice. If you'd like to pause again in any areas that feel sticky, or need extra attention, do so. And reverse the direction of your circles. All right, come to stillness. Take the backs of your hands and place them at your lower back, just above the hips. If you have the mobility, you can also clasp opposite elbows behind you. What we're looking for is a chest opening here. So if your hands are here or here, our goal is to pretend we're trying to separate the collarbones from one another and open the chest. Okay, so pause here, concentrating on stretching those chest muscles, sitting up tall still. Continuing to breathe through the nose. One more breath here. And leave one arm where it is, release the other one, and find a side bend. Reaching the arm over the ear, continuing to keep the core muscles activated here. Feel a nice length in the side body. Inhale to lift it back up, replace the arm or the hand, and release the second side, lengthening the side body there. Release all the way back up and let the arms back to normal. Uncross the legs. Extend the left leg long and bring the ankle of the right leg over the left knee. We're going to find a figure 4 stretch. Okay. You can either stay here if this feels engaging and you're feeling a nice opening in that right hip. If this is where you're landing today, you can work on keeping the shin parallel to the mat. Your shin might be lifted like this, and that's totally fine. Eventually, over time, the knee will lower closer to the ground and feel more comfortable that way as you become more mobile in the hip region. If you would like to intensify from here, ways to do that are to put the hands behind you, bend the left leg, and start to draw the shin closer to the chest, okay? So figure out where a good place is for you to land today. If you have your left leg bent, let's keep the right foot flexed and active, and again, work on that shin being parallel to the chest. If, again, your shin is popping up like this, straighten the left leg a little more until the shin becomes parallel. So pause here in your figure 4 stretch, opening the right hip. And when you're ready to release, straighten the left leg, uncross, and recross with side 2. Okay. One side might feel different from the other. That's completely normal. That's how most of us are. So bend or straighten the right leg or bend the right leg to whatever degree feels right for you today. If your knee is bent, make sure and activate that left ankle, keeping the foot flexed. Sitting up tall and enjoying opening in the left hip area. Straighten the right leg to release and unwind. Let's make our way into a tabletop. You can rock over onto one hip or the other, sweep the legs behind you, and come to hands and knees. Hips are directly above the knees, shoulders above the wrists. Let's take cat-cow. So press into the ground with the hands, round through the spine, and drop the chin towards the chest here. Pass through neutral. Arch the spine just gently. Gaze reaches forward gently. And the sit bones lift. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. And inhale, lower the chest, gazing forward. One more round, press into the ground, chin to chest, round the spine. And inhale, find your cow pose. Lower the chest, arch the spine, gaze forward. Release the spine back to neutral. And we are going to do some push-ups next. Don't be intimidated. There's going to be a chair push-up option that pops up in your screen. There's also going to be a wall push-up option, so watch for that if you're interested. If you want to use the mat for your push-ups today, lots of options. The first one is going to be a cobra push-up. And what that's going to look like is you're going to come all the way down to your belly. Your forearms are going to be parallel to one another. Palms stay on the mat, and all we're doing here is straightening and bending the arms, any amount, okay? You can straighten them quite a bit, or you can straighten them just a little. We want to keep our glutes engaged here. Option 2, come back into tabletop, pass through tabletop, into a child's pose shape with the arms extended in front of you. You can start here, lift up, rock forward, shoulders come in front of the wrists, and then you bend the elbows, finding your push-up. You can bend and straighten the elbows any amount, even if it's just a centimeter. Starting at the top, gauge how much to bend so that you know you can safely get back up. And start there, eventually bend a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And you can go back and forth between the child's pose and the push-up, okay? Option 3, plank on the knees. That's different from tabletop. Plank on the knees is our hips are rocked forward, and there's a straight line between shoulders and knees. And bend and straighten the arms in your push-up here. And then, of course, there's the traditional push-up where your knees are lifted and you're bending and straightening the elbows with the knees lifted. So find your favorite type of push-up. Again, demonstrations on the screen. And let's take 2 sets of 7, okay? At your own pace. 2 sets of 7. So 7, and then rest, and then 7 more. If you're using the floor and you're on your knees, you want to try to keep the gaze lifted a little bit as you lower. Keep the core hugged in wherever you are. And take a rest in between set 1 and set 2. You can find rest in child's pose or any pose that you would like, actually. I'm going to begin my second set now. I don't want to rush you, just letting you know where I am. So meet up with me or at your own pace, finding 7 more push-ups. When you've finished your second set, take another rest. If you're using child's pose for your rest, don't forget that a bolster or rolled up blanket between the backs of the thighs and the tops of the backs of the calves is also nice. Release from your rest. Make your way back to tabletop. We're going to practice getting up and down from the floor or the chair. This is a strength building class, so we're going to build strength. So if you have already stood from the mat to do your wall push-ups, there's going to be a demo on doing a wall sit while the rest of us get up and down. If you have a chair, you can also practice standing and sitting from your chair. 3 times up and down, that's it, and then we'll move on. So by whatever means you feel safe, get up and down from the mat or the chair. Move slowly. The next time you find yourself standing after your third try, everyone stay standing and bring yourself to the top of the mat. Make your way into what is mountain pose, standing at the top of your mat. And this is going to look like feet about hip width distance apart from one another. The tailbone is slightly tucked. Your shoulders are relaxed from the ears, but your shoulders or shoulder blades are just gently drawing towards one another behind you, which creates that sensation of your collarbones spreading away from one another. Breathing here in our mountain pose. One more inhale and exhale here. Shift the weight into the heels. We're going to practice chair pose. Bending the knees and sitting back like you're in a chair. Pausing here. Couple of options for the hands. They can be at the waist. Or if you'd like to try, you can reach the arms above the head next to the ears. Straighten the legs, release from your chair pose. Let's try that a couple more times. Sitting as deep as you feel comfortable, weight shifts into the heels. Look down, make sure that you can still see your big toes. So if you find your knees are in front of your toes, try to draw them back, okay? Finding your chair pose again, hands can be on the knees, they can be at the waist or extended above you. Straighten the legs, lower the arms if they're lifted, maybe shake it out a little bit. Let's try that one more time. Bending the knees, sitting back in your chair, weight stays in the heels, your toes are light here. And then straighten the legs, but forward fold, hinging at the waist. You can walk the hands down the legs and find a nice forward bend here. Allow your head to dangle. Your knees can be as bent or as straight as they'd like to be. Your fingertips can be on the ground. You can also utilize blocks or books here to stabilize. A couple of breaths here in your forward fold. And then as you're ready, roll all the way up to standing again. We're going to come onto the balls of the feet and lift and lower the heels in some heel raises. Feet stay about hip width distance apart. You can have a chair nearby for balance or even a wall if you'd like. You can put one finger on the wall for stability and support. As you're ready, lifting the heels and coming on to the balls of the feet. Slowly and smoothly setting the heels back down. Let's do this 5 more times. Lifting up, keep the core engaged as you do so. Pausing if you can when you get to the top. And then softly setting everything back down. All right, lifting. Pausing when you get there. Lowering back down smoothly. Lifting. Pausing. Gently setting everything back down. Let's do 2 more. Lifting. And lowering with control. 1 more time. Building strength in the calves and the ankles, and softly setting everything back down to the ground. Place the hands on the thighs. Feet stay hip width distance apart. We're going to practice some core engagements here. Close the eyes to help you bring your attention and your awareness to the core. Let's draw the navel towards the spine, and then take the action of lifting the pubic bone up towards the navel, and then see if you can take those bony bits in your hip points, those bones that protrude right at the tops of your hips. See if you can pretend you're drawing them towards one another. Again, hands stay on the thighs. Take all of those muscle engagements and let's hold them there for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Relax for just a moment. Maybe rub your belly. Get some heat there. Let's try that one more time. Hands on the thighs. Draw the pubic bone towards the navel. Reach the hip points towards one another. And lift the pubic bone up towards the navel. Really holding there tightly for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, squeeze it in, 2, and 1. Nice. Release and relax. Rub it out a little bit if that feels nice. Let's move into Warrior One pose. Okay, we're going to stay standing. We're going to shift the weight into our left foot. Again, chair or wall nearby for balance if you'd like. And then slide or step back with the right foot. You want to have a fairly wide stance here, okay? And then rotate that right foot out so that it's at a 45-degree angle to the top of the mat. You want your rib cage to be pointed forward and your left toes pointed straight forward. Bend into the left knee. See if you can bring the thigh parallel to the ground or close to it. Keep the rib cage pointed forward. Warrior one. Options with the hands are to have them at the waist or lift the arms up overhead next to the ears here. Breathing here in our warrior one. You want your back leg to be just as active as your strong leg in the front. You're pressing into the ground with your feet, pushing the mat away as much as you can. One more big inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to plant the hands on the ground in front of us. If the ground feels like a really far distance away for your hands to go, watch the screen for a chair demo if you have a chair nearby, or you can bring the hands to blocks, or again, on the ground outside of the front foot. So now we're kind of in a runner's lunge situation. It also might feel nice to rotate onto the ball of the back foot and then let the hips lower here. We're going to find a twist. Option one, lower to the knee of the right leg, or option two, keep the knee lifted. Our twist, we're going to shift the weight into the right hand and twist the torso open to the left. Again, we can be on the back knee if you'd like. And we're reaching our gaze up to the left fingertips above us. The chest is rolling open towards the left side of the mat here. Rotate everything back down to the mat. If you're not already on the knee, lower to the knee. Walk the hands back, bring yourself back into a tabletop shape. And let's come back to standing to do the second side. So our weight shifts into the right foot this time. We step back or slide the left foot behind us. Our foot rotates 45 degrees, toes point out at an angle. We bend into the front knee, hands at the waist, or arms can be lifted, warrior one. Strong back leg here. Holding in this lunge shape for one more breath. And then again, we lower the arms or bring the hands down to blocks or all the way down to the mat. Rotate the back foot so that you're on the ball of the back foot. Stay lifted or lower the back knee for this twist. The weight comes into the left hand and the right arm lifts high, and we rotate the chest open to the long side of the mat here. Keeping the back leg strong if the knee is lifted. Breathing here. One more inhale. And then exhale. Bring everything back down to the ground. And step the knees together. Let's make our way back down to seated, either on your chair or on the mat here. Wherever you are seated, take the right arm, sweep it in front of you, lift it overhead, and lower it behind you, just making a rainbow shape here. Back and forth a few times, bringing motion and mobility into the shoulder joint. Make your movements kind of slow and purposeful. One more time. And do that same thing on the second side. Just sweeping the arm in front of you and behind you. You can turn your head back and forth to kind of follow the arm if you want. As you're doing this, continue to keep that core activation, building strength even in these more passive poses here. One more time, up and back. We're going to find a hamstring stretch next. So extend the left leg long. Keep the sole of the right foot inside the left leg. Keep the left leg active, so engage the thigh muscles, engage the calf, and keep the ankle and the foot flexed on the left side here. Turn the rib cage forward. You want your chest facing those left toes, and then walk the hands out any amount here. See if you can draw the chest forward and not down, okay? Taking the stretch to the area just below the left glute there, the top of the hamstring. Walk the hands back towards the pelvis. Use your hand for support on the outside of the right knee to extend the right leg and change sides. Activate the right leg. Right foot is flexed. Walk it forward. Release from that stretch and extend both legs out in front of you. We're just going to find a seated forward fold here. Spine is up tall and straight. Weight is equally distributed between both of your sit bones. Legs are still active, and then as you're ready, find a forward fold here. You can also make this a supported forward fold with a bolster or blanket or something to take up space between your chest and your thighs, if you'd like. Release from your forward fold. Let's lay all the way down on the back. If you're in your chair, continue to follow the screen for instructions next. Lower all the way down. See if you can get there slowly using your core strength here to help you down. Bend the knees. Plant the soles of the feet on the mat. And extend the arms out to a T shape or a cactus shape if that feels nice. Lower the knees over to the right. You can support them with a bolster or a blanket if they'd like support there, and turn your head in the opposite direction. Finding a nice supine twist here as we wrap up our class. Engage your core muscles, lift the knees back up to center, and drop them over to the left-hand side. You want your shoulders to stay relaxed on the mat. So if you find your shoulder starts to lift up, again, back out of the twist just a little bit and support the knees with something soft. Draw the knees back to center. Straighten the legs. Take a couple breaths here in final resting pose. Concentrate on your breath, making sure you can allow your belly to expand as you inhale and contract as you exhale. Once more, expanding the belly. Contracting the belly on the exhale. Let everything relax. Bend into the knees again. Draw the knees towards the chest. Roll onto your side and press your way back up to seated as you're ready. I hope you're feeling strong after this class, and I hope you've enjoyed this beginner yoga series. These are classes that you can rotate through many different times. The next time you want to watch it, check out the description below. There's a timestamp there, so you don't have to listen to the introduction. You can just skip right ahead to the workout. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear any comments you might have. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.